Well, hello everybody, welcome to the ITL. Yeah, my lights decided to come join me today. I don't know if you caught that, the light, my fluorescent lights finally decided to kick on. Yes, they're not really meant for out here in the garage, but you know, they work. They work whatever they want to. Since I'm sending them back to the unemployment office. Okay. Here we're here, probably hearing the tinging of my heater that I just shut down. It is chilly outside. It is chilly, not cold, just chilly. And actually, it's an upward. It's moving upward from the last few days. That's actually this last week. We got hit with some snow, pretty good snow too. Not feet deep, inches deep, but it was good snow. It was kind of a heavy snow. But now it's all melting away, and hopefully, this is actually being recorded the Friday before. So hopefully, me and the goat will get out this Sunday. Let's hope. Watch things just come around and not let me get out anyway. You know, that's just life. But yeah. Not a whole lot to talk about this week, really. Not a whole lot. I kind of stalled out with the building of the welder cart I was building, but that's due to it's me. This week I really whatever I've gotten, it's hitting, and it just really makes you slothful, and I mean things just don't get done. I did get my hands on some of the angle iron that I was talking about last week, which a lot of you spoke and said that's actually good stuff. And yes, I do agree. The old bed rails, framing rails, are actually good stuff. You can get them for nothing. Lots of times people throw them alongside the road. And actually, I got my hands on some that some people were just wanting to get rid of, period, off their property. And I mean, that's for. Say, okay, I'll pick it up. I should have charged them to haul it away. That would have been the wisest thing, huh? But no, I just said I'll pick it up. But because I'm not greedy. But we come to think of it, I could have made a few dollars. But anyway, I'm actually using the cross members right now to do a few of the small detail work, for the cart. Anyway, because I'm going to need some small little pieces up front and on the rear of it, because to help keep the welder from sliding around. And I'm actually going to do what I call it's like a plug weld, because they already got the holes made into the steel to accept the two side pieces to slide in. Well, I'm going to go ahead and just weld those up nice and flashing, nice and tall and on the holes, and grind it down smooth, down level, and then we'll just primer and paint over it. That'll work. You won't hardly notice that even had holes through it, but yet they'll be welded nice fast to the cart. Good enough for what I need it for anyway. But yeah, actually there was actually Dante Fox, his live stream on Thursdays, and yesterday was of course Thursday for me. And there's always the residue of the hangout afterwards, where we'll go back and forth with each other, and basically text each other back and forth. And came up an interesting conversation with Gopro needing me. Basically, he has I believe it was a '96 Toyota, and there was a light on the dash, and he was trying to figure out what was causing the light on the dash. Well, first place, he's in Ohio. If the car's running good, leave it roll. If it's not running good but still running, leave it roll. It's Ohio. But yeah, I can understand his qualm here. But because it's in the '96, I mean, you have the transition from the OBD to OBD2 readers, and then there's one other one after that. But yeah, I'd say the actually up till what was it, the early '90s, you could actually read the codes from the dashes, from the lights flashing. They actually sold was it the pin keys that you actually stuck into the pin work underneath the dash. And as long as you knew where the pin ports were to stick that key in, I always used a hairpin. Not a hairpin, paper clip will actually work. I use paper clips lots of times, and you just make sure you know which port, which plug to put it in, and sure it jumps it across, and you turn the key on, and it'll flash it and give you. You have to know how to read the flashes, and it'll give you the code. But I think they changed that after, I think it was, what was it, around 90, 91, 92. But and I started with the OBD readers, and I know a lot of the companies, even the auto parts stores, don't even handle the old OBD readers, but they still handle the OBD2s. Not all of them though. So you have to go to, I forget it was OBD3 or something like that, or whatever it was. They changed it to, and I mean, it's whatever the flavor of this century, I guess. But I mean, personally, I do have an OBD2 reader in my toolbox that I hook up, I download an app onto my cell phone or my tablet. I love using my tablet more for it because my tablet actually handles the apps a lot better than most of my cell phones. But I'll download it onto an Android device, and it'll let me read it. Now, this is just a reader that I have, and actually, it's a cheap one. You can get them for like $5 on eBay, Amazon, probably a couple dollars off of Wish if you want to wait a year and not have it work. But you get the OBD2 readers that way. The newer readers, I haven't really looked into it. I haven't had a need for it. The newer OBD readers. My SUV is still old enough that the OBD2 actually works on it. And actually, with my OBD2 reader, it still tells you the what RPM the engine's running at and all that crap. And it works good. It does work good. You can actually set it. You can set it to tell you basically if you're setting up for racing and stuff too. But it is only a reader. It doesn't erase. The good ones actually, you're going to pay a little bit of money for the ones that actually get into your computers and erase the codes. My thought on it is normally you could just pull the battery and let it sit for a little while, and your codes are erased off. That's not all the time, but normally you can. And I have no qualms about doing that. The only bad thing about it is it'd be nice to be able to save your backups, your channels on your radio, so you would have to go through and reset your radio anytime and everything. That's the biggest pain in the butt. I can live with it. Because I mean, my vehicles don't go to the garage unless they absolutely have to. And that's when does it absolutely have to? Well, once a year to get inspected is one of them. I'm not allowed to inspect it myself. I'm not going to even try to go through to get my inspection license, even though I had it for trucks for a while. But anyway, I'm not going to even try to get an inspection license to inspect my vehicles. It's just, it's not kosher. I mean, I don't even know if it's even legal to inspect your own vehicles, because you can get away with too much cheating on that part. But yeah, it is what it is. But I mean, that's why I'm like, anymore, I'm going to stick with my old vehicles. I'm going to keep my old tools around. I'll be working on my own vehicle as long as I can, because it's enough to make your toe go prematurely gray. But saying that, he's working in an older vehicle, a '96, I think it was. And I mean, even then, that's a switchover between the OBD and OBD2. And I don't have the OBD reader in the garage. I should actually purchase one someday, and just to have it here, because I do tend to work on a lot of the older vehicles. But on the other hand, a lot of times whenever you get a light on the dash, a check engine light, I mean, as long as you make sure your oil's up and everything else, and your filters are all good and clean and everything, a lot of times it's an O2, CO2 sensor. And normally, chances are, if you know how to clean them, all you gotta do is clean them. And you could do, and I can tell you how to clean them. And there's many ways. People, oh, don't do this, don't do that. But some ways you can actually destroy your CO2 sensor. Other ways, I mean, it won't hurt it one bit. But there's ways to do it online. You can look it up, and normally it just crud on it, and that's what I actually mentioned in the little discussion we had, that it's just dirt probably, because the chances are it's just dirt. A misfire could cause it, yes, that was brought up. There's a few other things that could cause it too. But if the vehicle's running good, not missing or anything else, I'd pull the CO2 sensor out and look up how to clean it and clean it. Throw it back in. Chances are your light's going to go out. Well, you also don't forget, I'm not saying all cars are this way, don't forget, pull your battery, pull disconnect your battery from the car. That way you are erasing that code that's been thrown too. Because, I mean, it may keep popping up that the code's it's still there whenever after you cleaned it. It sounds stupid, but I've ran into it. And it was that happened more with me with a Chevy than anything else. But I did have a Toyota that gave me a Toyota Corolla gave me a little bit of hassle. That was a '93. That gave me a little bit of hassle. But that car was so screwed over. It's on part of my language. It should have been sent to the junkyard instead of me salvaging it. But I ended up salvaging it because it was a free car. The car was free, given to me. It had a blown head gasket, a bad water pump. Well, the head gasket was caused because it was ran so long hard on a bad water pump. But anyway, and the lady knew that the water pump was bad. She just decided to send it 100 miles away from where she lived to a kid that was going to school for mechanics to fix the water pump. Okay, this was on an interstate ride driving, and okay, trying to save a buck. Okay, it just cost you a car. You just blew the head gasket, which didn't really. If the kid knew what he was doing at all, it wouldn't have cost her the whole car, because it didn't cost me hardly anything to get it fixed. I mean, I had less than $1,000 into the car and had it up and running. Granted, I had the parts to fix the problem that was still there whenever I got rid of it. I got to the point where I wasn't going to tear it apart again. I just decided, you know what, this car was put together as basically a trade-in. It was the body was in beautiful shape at the time for the time. To find out that, coming afterwards, that the lady had so many car accidents. Of course, it had a beautiful body on it because it had all new parts. But anyway, I mean, leave it to Asians. But anyway, she was Asian too. So that's not being racist. She was Asian. She's Chinese, actually. But anyway, that's neither here or there. But anyway, the car, I had less than $1,000 into it, with a head gasket, and I didn't have all the tools to do the valve spring compression on it or anything, so I bought those tools. And this was before the great rental thing came into that area. But anyway, I bought all the tools for it, and I did it in my own parking lot, not driveway, a parking lot, because I lived in a community at this time. We didn't have our own garages at the time where I lived. We had a parking lot. So I pulled the head off of it, and I checked it myself, the straight edge, and I threw a head gasket on it, and everything up. Got new gaskets, new everything. But the one thing I did skip, I chose to skip, which was stupid of me, was the valve stem seals. So whenever I hit a hill, yeah, it looked like the Batmobile. Somebody was following me. So it smoked like crazy. It didn't smoke all that bad. I mean, it only took me a case and a half of oil to get from Maryland, Washington, D.C. up to Midwestern Pennsylvania. And I was taking the interstates. So it took me a case and a half of oil. Yeah, a little bit of pollution in the environment, but hey, it got me here. So I turned it around and drove it back. It used a little bit less oil because I was going the other way. So, but saying that, I ended up just trading that car in. The garage knew what was wrong with the car, and they said actually the car was actually in really good shape. The engine wasn't hurt one bit, and they were happy to actually get it in. They had it all fixed and back on the road the next day, which was cool. But I mean, I got off lucky. Didn't need everything was still straight on it. Nothing was warped. I just had to replace the head bolts and go through it and do everything the way it really should have been done. Well, except for the valve stem seals. I had them in the kit. I just never put them in. In fact, whenever I moved back up to Midwestern Pennsylvania, I actually came across them in my stuff, and I'm like, huh, that's cool. Somebody's messaging me, and I'm shooting the ITL. So it was like, I still have those. But anyway, it's like, it is what it is. I got a couple grand out of it for trade-in, which comes back down to probably I broke even as far as the trade-in actually goes. It works. It works. But yeah, I was like, it's Ohio, he said. I was like, let it roll. I mean, actually, I know a lady that has this newer Honda. It's like, oh, that's a year old. And their dash light came on. And she asked me, so Mike, what's this dash light for? And I mean, I looked at it, and I mean, it was just a simple light. It looked like an oil light, actually. I mean, this thing's less than a year old. It shouldn't be leaking oil or using oil. And I didn't think of looking into the book to find out what this little oil light shit was for. And here it was actually keeping track of the mileage, and it was telling her when to change the oil. And I looked at the book, and I came across to what it was letting her do. Here she just had the oil changed, and here that she didn't take it to a dealership to have that reset. But I ended up being able to figure out how to reset it for her so she can roll on down the road. Yes, it was a few miles off, but she uses pure synthetic oil anyway, and it's programmed to let her to bing off and tell her every 3,000 miles to change the oil. And I told her, I said, you know what, you can go with that if you want to. You're just wasting your money in a way, but you know your car is not going to get hurt. And being that she's an older lady, it's just better just let the car tell her, hey, change the oil. Now she knows, hopefully she'll remember to change the oil whenever that light comes on. But I mean, dash lights can be several different things. You just got to know how to read them and what they stand for. There used to be a dash light, I forget which one was it, used to go off in the Volvo Whites, the trucks that we used to have in our fleet. And we used to have a driver every now and then come in, there's a light on my dash, what is it for? And I said, it's basically for loose nuts to ask questions about why that light's on. And it worked. It just did its job. And I said other words than just loose nuts. And it got him off my back for a little while. I mean, as long as the vehicle's running decently, I didn't care about it. Some of those lights were just, especially when you're working in a diesel, it's a true idiot light. I mean, yes, there is things that you should keep monitoring, but back then it wasn't that difficult. It wasn't that complicated. So it really meant nothing. You know? But I mean, that's just how things work. That's how things work. But I think it was the Volvos that had that, the Volvo Whites. Which, I mean, nowadays, I mean, you got to be basically a computer technician to work on these 18-wheelers, the tractors. I mean, it's like, whew. Myself, I hated computers back then, and to a degree, I kind of dislike them still because of Windows. But I like my laptop a lot better since I put Linux on it. I'm better now. I've jabbered at you guys all enough for this week. This is MuzzleMike, hoping you all have a great week. Signing out.